The 20-ton door in the bank vault, while its walls were also ironed, the makers were so sure of it that they did not even install a security alarm in the bank vault because it was called an unbreakable vault. His illusion was shattered when the thieves hatched a master plan and evaded security for 27 hours and hid in the vault. A very warm welcome from me to all the friends who come to my channel Did You Know? Before starting the video, I request all my newcomer friends to subscribe my channel and also press the bell button so that you will be notified of every new video. Thanks. Viewer, what was this master plan and why is it considered the biggest bank heist in history? Before we discuss that, let's jump straight to July 19, 1976. The sun had risen on Monday and staff members had started arriving at Société Générale, a bank in Nice, France, considered to be the safest and strongest bank in the world to date. It so happened that as per routine the bank staff went to open the vault. It was a very strong door with a very complicated lock. They entered the lock combination but the door did not open. Now here it is important to know that this door had been jammed many times before as it weighed around 20 tons and that is why it often got stuck. The bank staff felt that the door was stuck as usual, so they contacted the company that made the vault. After half an hour, the company's expert came to the bank and tried to open the door, but the surprising thing was that this time even the experts of the company were not able to open the door. They tried many times but this door was not ready to open in any case. The matter was getting serious now because the customer was also lined up and it was now a question of the honor of the bank. Finally, after 3 hours, they decided to drill into the wall of the vault to see what was stuck in the door. There were no signs of forced entry on the vault door and no marks were found on its four walls. After drilling a hole with a heavy-duty drill machine, when they looked inside, they saw that the vault door was welded from the inside. It was hard to believe this scene as there was only one way into the vault. There was no way inside the vault and no window, meaning it was impossible to get inside the vault. Seeing this, everyone understood that something unusual had happened here. They called for machinery and decided to break through the wall of the vault to get inside. This work had to take a lot of time because these walls were much thicker than normal walls and iron was placed between them. Well, after hours of work there was a crack in the wall big enough for a man to enter the vault and the view inside the vault was incredible. The bank vault had been robbed, some lockers were broken and some lockers were open, and the most interesting thing was that these famous words were written with spray paint on the wall of the vault, the English translation of which is, "Without harm, without hate, without violence." Just as the bank staff came to their senses, they saw a tunnel built into the vault's ground. Now the next task was for the police who had reached by that time. Thieves broke into 400 safe boxes out of 4,000 including money and gold blocks in the vault and escaped with valuables. The tunnel they dug led to the largest underground sewer in the city. There, the police found a lot of evidence, including tools and 27 gas cylinders that the thieves used to light a welding torch, ventilation equipment for fresh air in a sewer line, and nearly a kilometer of electrical wires. This loot was worth more than $20 million, which today is worth $110 million. It was the biggest heist of the century, but this police investigation also has the status of the biggest investigation in France. This had spread all over the world and the reputation of the bank had been greatly damaged, but it was also a matter of great regret for the French police. Over the next several months, the police exerted their full force, arresting bystanders and interrogating bank staff, but nowhere was there a trace of the thieves. Then 3 months later, in October 1976, the police got a big lead. A member of gang was caught on a tip from his own girlfriend. At first he was not accepting, but when the police tortured him, he spoke up and revealed the name of the entire gang. It was a big surprise to the police that this gang was known for petty thefts, so the fact that the gang had committed major bank robberies was not digested by the police. The mastermind of this plan was actually someone else. During the interrogation, the group told the police the name of a person who was the mastermind of this theft. The man's name was Albert Spaggiari. This Albert Spaggiari was originally a photographer. When the police arrested him, he did not look like a criminal. He lived an ordinary life in ordinary clothes and in an ordinary house in the city. When his neighbors were asked, They all said that Albert was an ordinary photographer who always focused on his work. But what the police were thinking about Albert Spaggiari was quite different. He confessed to the police that he was the mastermind behind the bank robbery. The case was almost closed for the police, but it was just the beginning. According to Albert, he had previously taken a locker in the same bank and used to go and take pictures of everything. He first put an alarm clock in his locker and set it for night time. When there was no alert even after ringing the alarm and no security alarm was sounded, it was confirmed that no security system was installed in the vault. Then he became an engineer and went to the city government office and got a map of the city from there. From this map, he estimated the sewer line in the city and how far it was from the bank. Then he calculated and figured that by digging a 26-foot tunnel through a nearby sewer line, he could get right into the bank vault. Now the job required a lot of work, so Albert approached a gangster in town and told him his whole plan. The gangster put his men to work. It took about 2 months to dig the tunnel because the work was done without machinery, and it was very important that the work was done only at night when no one was present in the bank. Albert was trying his best not to make any noise as far as the road above the sewer line, but finally on the night of Saturday and Sunday, July 18th, he entered the vault. For the next 27 hours, they looted in peace, during which they also had lunch and dinner there, writing these famous words as they went. The police produced Albert in court where he pleaded guilty before the judge. During the interrogation, he had written the details of the looted money in code word on a piece of paper as evidence of his plan. He said that he will give this evidence only to the judge and only the judge will be able to read this code word. For this task, the judge called Albert to his room. Albert handed the paper to the judge on which the map of the city was drawn. Just as the judge was beginning to understand the map, Albert immediately jumped from the window of the room. This room was on the first floor and a car was parked below it. Albert landed on the roof of the car and immediately stood up, a bike that was already there waiting for him. He sat on it and escaped. Despite the efforts of the police, Albert could not be caught. Many years later, an interview of his was broadcast on an Italian TV channel, in which he said that since the age of 12, I had a passion for treasures and I fulfilled this passion with this heist. It seemed that he was harassing the French police with this interview. The mystery of where Albert went after that has not been solved till date. Albert Spaggiari died in 1989. Albert's mother said that someone had left Albert's body outside the house. I hope this video of Did You Know? You will also like and share it. Thank you for your loving comments and likes. Thanks for watching the video. Take good care of yourself. Goodbye.